last time we talked, we were actually we kind of stopped the conversation at divine masculinity,
Mm-hmm.
which that's kind of been with me for some time because I feel like that's not something that I have really contemplated and I don't think is really talked about so much. I don't know, like I feel like I've heard and spoken a lot about the divine feminine, but the divine masculine, uh, not so much. But I think it kind of maybe dovetails into what you were just talking about recently with, or like just now with the whole sacral
Yeah.
chakra thing. It's kind of, I don't know, when I think masculinity, I think, kind of getting shit done. But so often I've seen it from this kind of shadow place or like kind of a toxic masculinity where it's kind of, in order to fulfill a purpose, I will bulldoze everyone and everything to get there, including my own emotional needs.
Yeah.
That's the kind of masculinity that I'm used to seeing.
Yeah.
Um, and I don't know, yeah, I guess I'm kind of wondering, like, because I kind of see in myself that, this kind of, there's a loving one-pointedness um, that's kind of arising. It feels like a very masculine energy. Um, but I don't know, I guess yeah, I'm just kind of like wondering how one fulfills desires and a sense of purpose from love. Maybe
Yeah.
that's, you know,
I think basically your everybody's body has the answer.
hmm,
Like everybody, like when I say everybody, it sounds like I'm saying everybody is in the person, but I mean everybody, the physical body has the answer.
right.
Like so your
Every
body,
space,
yeah, every what, sorry?
like every space body, like it's two
Yeah.
different words.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Every space body.
yeah. Every space body.
Yeah. To get existential.
Love it.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So actually it already is existential what am I saying, but everybody. I'm so used to this subject, like I've been into it since I was so young, that it's so normal for me. It's hard for me to think about it not being here or not having that in your everyday consciousness. Because
Hmm.
so it's like I'm not used to it. Like my mom, I don't have many people or friends in my life that aren't into this subject. So my mom is maybe one, but she even has some knowledge of it because of me. Very
Yeah.
little, but okay. So back to the subject. So everybody
Yeah.
has the answer right there. So you have all the answers inside of you intuitively. You know everything of what to do and what not to do. And you know how to act. And you know the right things to do. You know exactly in every moment the right answer or what you want to do. But then what happens is that you've got this image that you're trying to live up to of what you need to be. So you know how to be the divine masculine. You know exactly how to act from that. But then on top of that, you've got this image that you're trying to live up to, and this is what pulls you out of being truly yourself. It's not so much about thinking mind, that the thinking mind gets a bad rap. The thinking mind is an amazing tool to process information and to understand information, but it's living up to this image of yourself. And predominantly what you want to live up to is you want to be successful. And it's ironic because that wanting to be successful is what brings in the neurotic masculine and what brings in the bulldozer and what brings in like that focus on just like your needs, or not saying that you've got that, but I'm just talking about it. Like
I think I.
so it's what brings in that element, because when you're trying to live up to the image of yourself, it's so important that you have a good image of yourself. Like you're always trying to, in your particular circumstance, create the best image of self, which then encourages the bad image of self. because our thinking mind, our images are always comparison. So your image of the perfect you is always in comparison. Like it's always in comparison to something, and that comparison gives you a bad image of yourself as well. So let's take goodness for an example. Like and this, like, we can break this down again at another point, because also the contemplation of goodness and the attempt to interact in a good way is something that we need to reflect on as well. But we're just going to take this as an example. Can I just ask, do you have headset in, because there's an echo happening?
Oh, one second, I do. It's in my pocket, but not in the pants that I'm currently wearing. Hold on. Yep.
That's okay.
Just one moment.
I kept hearing myself talk back.
Yeah, I actually moved to a new apartment, so I think the acoustics in here are a bit different from.
Thank you.
How about that?
Yeah, that's better. Well, okay, there's a little bit of feedback, but not as bad as it was.
Okay.
So let's just take goodness as an example. So, and we need this functioning on a human level to some extent, but when it's related to the image of yourself. So say you have a very strong sense of goodness and what's right and wrong, like you have a strong sense of empathy and a very strong sense of what's good at. And so in your head, you have an image of what you have to live up to, what's acceptable for you. And then what you're always being haunted by is your shadow, is the dark side. So it's like your body might have urges to eat meat, or your body might have urges to have like really like aggressive sex or something, or your body might have urges to like to go and buy like really bad stuff that's really bad for the environment. But that's not acceptable to this image of you. So then what you do is you push that down in your image of yourself, and then you maintain and hold on to this. And then you might get really angry with people that aren't good on the outside, that don't do good things on the outside. And what you're doing when you're living in an image of yourself is you're always comparing yourself to the outside world, to the inside world. Now, doing good things, and I'm not saying that we have to totally deny the language of goodness and badness. It's important to be able to intellectually identify when someone's acting inappropriately. And it's good to identify like the best actions you can do. You identify it, but then you let the body digest that information. And then again, you still act from your essence, from that which is deeper than the image of yourself. So it's like you take in this information of what's good and what's bad and what's good for the environment, but then you let the body act naturally. Like you like let your body navigate in the moment. Like, so if you're picking between like something that's got loads of pesticides on it and grown in like really bad conditions, as opposed to something that's really healthy, you then still let your body choose. Like you still let that your body like be the primary decider, rather than this image of what you need to be, like this image of being like an organic vegan that that like does all these things. So
yeah,
so it's
a
really,
California type.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's important that we tell stories about ourselves. Like, I don't mean to deny it, like deny storytelling. Like the reason we tell stories about ourselves is in order to navigate our society, navigate relationships, and navigate our environment. But it's that we should put the information in, and then we let the body respond. It's this middle bit that's claiming an image of you and trying to live up to the image of you, and that's what actually will make toxic femininity and toxic masculinity. Like that's what will make it like do these types of things. Like on the natural level, your natural feeling is always to give, and that's love. Like to be in this state of giving, and that's true love. Is being in this feeling of giving, this place of like wanting to contribute and wanting to give something. Not a neediness, not like trying to get love from people, not trying to get money from people, like trying to get things from people. It's this natural way of giving. That doesn't mean that you're not really good at business. You can still do business and be in a place of giving. It is a different way of operating. It's not trying to retain everything for you. So it's like you do it from a natural place. So in every moment you have to follow what you feel like doing on the bodily level. And if you don't follow what you feel like doing, it's understanding it and seeing what you're doing. And in that's where you'll become the harmonious male. Like, I don't think it's like a set thing that it has to be like this or it has to be like that. I don't, like, I'm sure there's qualities of it that we could talk about, but I don't think it's a fixed thing. I think it will manifest in each person differently. Like, there'll be different characteristics. I get the sense that it's a really supportive place. Like the male, the masculine role is like a supporting, it's like a holding space. Like, so in non-duality, like consciousness is the masculine, and the I am, the life, the beingness, that sense of being that this is the feminine. So in Hinduism, they have the image of Shiva with, I think it's Kali dancing on his lap. So Shiva is sitting still and Kali dances on his lap. So Kali represents life and Shiva represents that stillness. And I get the sense that that's what happens in relationships as well, whether it be relationship with your boss or work or colleagues. There's this predominantly this holding energy that can hold everything, that can support everything. What do you feel for you your natural masculinity is?
It's well, recently it's been this kind of it's almost like this very, I don't know, like the way that I've seen it so far has been one-pointedness and discrimination. Um, like, yeah, like when I say discrimination, it's kind of the ability to see, because like what I feel like the past year I've been kind of looking into this sort of divine yes, this all accepting,
Yeah.
allowing to take things in. But now there's kind of this, I don't know, it's like a divine no, like it's like, okay, I don't need to dwell on this. I don't need to, like, it's just kind of the ability to not dwell in certain emotions and negative states, and like just I could simply say no to this and
Yeah.
move past it, and that's been quite lovely. It's
Yeah.
yeah, and along with that has come a sort of, yeah, a one-pointedness that's a little bit more, how do you say, yeah, it's yeah, that one-pointedness is something very interesting that's been kind of coming online, because I'm used to, I don't know, sort of concentrating out of fear, out of I must complete this task in order to fill in the blank, survive, and I don't know, there's just something a little bit more, it's like a calm strength, a calm ability to weather any storm, but still keep a focus, a purpose, a resolve maybe in mind.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just kind of been, I don't know, naturally, I don't know, cultivating itself even. Um, and it's nice that what you mentioned at the very start of this talk, that sort of inner trust. There's like a, trusting that, no, the wisdom is here
Yeah.
in me.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's something. I'm sorry?
Your body really knows what to do. It's so intelligent.
I guess there's, as far as that's concerned, I feel like there's just so much in the way of, I don't know, there's just so much noise. There's still so much, how do you say, fear and ambition and so much should, you know,
Yeah.
like, how do you say, like these ideals that I have in my head that, I don't know, I feel like they need to be cleared out in a
Yeah.
way. They need to be released. Um,
Yeah. And it will, through time, they will change, they will move through, and you will become more yourself on the human level.
hmm.
But also, it can also just change right now. But so this idea that you've got lots of blocks, it can also just change right now. That you can have these blocks, or you can have these uncomfortable feelings, but deeper than that, there's this relaxed energy that knows what to do. Like all of this is happening, like even if, like even whatever you tell yourself on the conscious level, like all of this is gonna happen the way it does. Like your body is responding prior to you knowing its response. Like your body is so intelligent. So your choices, even though they feel like your choices, your body is actually making its decision. Your body is actually orchestrating you. It's just that you're listening to the more surface levels that are saying it's me doing it, and then saying yes, but this, or I should be this, or I should be that. Like, and then deeper than that, there's this relaxation, and then there's these natural actions that are coming out, and they feel like giving. They feel open and expansive. They're risky as well.
Risky.
Yeah.
Hmm. I don't know if I like that.
The risky part.
The risky part, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So where I trip up on is empathy for others. So when we're speaking, like I'm really enjoying speaking to you because you're not forcing conversation. Like so you're just letting it drift into silence when it does.
Hmm.
And then I'm doing that as well. To me that's like a heavenly conversation. That's like, that's so lovely for me when someone gives me the permission to just drift off into silence. And I'm always feel like I'm ready to give other people the permission, but I can feel sometimes when I'm speaking to someone that they feel insecure and they feel agitated by the silence. And so then what I'll do is I'll carry on conversation in order to try to relax them. I think a lot of people do that, but that's I think out of all my not following myself, like not following my flow, my natural flow on the body level, that's the one where I predominantly, like not fail, but predominantly like don't follow my flow because I feel
Hmm.
bad for the like other person in that conversation. Like I feel it in my body, like the empathy for that person.
I'm sure to some extent that's necessary, though, right? Like establishing comfort. Maybe it's I don't know, like an impersonal strategy somehow. I
Yeah.
mean, that's what it sounds like to me. You know.
I think it's I think in an ideal society, um, things would be a lot less complicated and you wouldn't have to do that. I
Hmm.
think uh, I think it's predominantly based in a society that's neurotic. Like there's like between you and me, doesn't it feel relaxing that we can just drift off into silence?
It really does.
Yeah.
Yeah. But there is also, no, I also feel that way too. It's almost like this, there's like an obligation to keep the conversation going. But like, yeah,
Yeah,
I feel like, yeah, with between us, it can just kind of drift away. Yeah.
yeah. And I think that it's a society thing. Like I think it's very difficult to do that in our mainstream society,
Mm,
and because people are so unused to it.
yeah.
It's a lot easier around spiritual people.
It is. It really is. Yeah. Yeah, we're used to the silence a little bit more so, I'd say. But
Yeah.
do you find that that action comes from this silence as well?
What the action of empathy?
Just action generally.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
But basically, you sort of become see-through. So you're just like like in a way, if you put it like really extremely, so I'm always trying to bridge like being person and this no person, like not making it too extreme, but yeah, if you put it more in extreme language, it's just nothing acting. It's love acting. It's or God, you could say, or the mystery acting. So in every moment, you're just relaxing into who you truly are, and you can trust it because it's functioning through this body that's so intelligent that life has created these bodies. They're almost like on or like it's like the way that we've created like machinery. Like they're so intelligent and navigating their environment. And we need conscious thinking. Like we need to be able to think and perceive our environment to update us. Like there's traffic works happening here in LA. I don't want to drive there, so
Yeah.
the train doesn't work at this time. So we need this information to constantly being updated. But then there can just be a relaxation into that. So then when you act, it's nothing acting. But it does make you a little bit like a little bit like you're a bozo because you're not constantly thinking about it. So it can make you a little like almost like you're stoned a little, like a little slower than normal because you're kind of like in a more relaxed state. Like your mind's not working so quickly.
Mm.
And your memory is not working so quickly. And what it does is
Yeah.
it actually gets rid of relationships, it gets rid of interactions, and what you're actually dealing with is the person in that moment. So you're actually dealing with the energy of the person, and you're dealing with the situation of the room, the feeling in that room, rather than your image of what's happening in that room or your image of that person. So you're actually dealing with their energy that they're coming to you with. So you're no
So
longer
you're.
so when you say sorry, I keep interrupting you, I don't mean to.
Oh, no, no, no. It's fine. It's fine.
So normally when we go into situations, we're dealing with an image of who we think that person is.
hmm
So in this action, so if you, whatever action you do now, whether it be moving your hand or going to say something or speak to me, like when you're just here, when there's just a relaxing into what's happening here, which is all these bodily sensations, these emotions, these feelings, and these thoughts, when you relax into it and you're not watching what's happening in time and constantly being identified with the timeline, you begin to lose a sense of who I am, which is quite exciting. And then we can build it up again when we need to speak about something.
Hmm. Yeah, but I suppose it comes from a different place, right? Like an unidentified
place? Is that
Um,
like? Hmm.
I don't know. I think I lost the gist of that question.
Yeah, I kind of like I think what we're talking about is kind of what's there was just this I just kind of dissolved into this sense of transparency, and then I was trying to make words
Yeah.
after that. So yeah, I think that's I'm feeling a bit like a bozo right now, but it's good. It's really nice.
It's super
Excuse me.
intimate. It's super intimate when you're both just here. That's very intimate to be together. Like the image of you and the image of me creates distance, and that begins to dissolve. It's a very intimate experience.
Hmm. It is lovely. I think once upon a time I would have been afraid of it, the dissolution, you know.
Yeah.
I feel like there's love in this moment as well, and it's not the sort of I don't know romantic comedy kind of love. It's like there's something very calm. There's like
Yeah.
a calm sweetness.
Yeah. That's your essence.
Hmm.
That's the beingness or the amness side, not the I am something, but the beingness side. The consciousness is just empty and still, and then the love is that beingness that this is. And that's where everything comes from, like every urge and every impulse, every experience, the room, the color, the light.
And not to, I don't know, it's kind of this Advaita party pooper kind of coming in saying that, well, it is just an experience.
What in
That,
love?
yeah, because, yeah, like there's an, like when we're talking about an essence, it's a state, right? Like this calm, this sweetness,
Yeah,
and therefore it's
something that,
impermanent as
yeah,
well,
yeah.
right? Or-
Yeah, I meant the love that's beyond that, that cannot be perceived. So, yes, in the body, the calmness and the sweetness that's being translated in the body, that will come and go and that will change. Your chakra sensations will change. But behind that, in the background, there is this undercurrent of love. And that's always there. And it's not really a feeling, it's the sense that you are, it's the sense that this is. And you've always had that, the sense that this is, that you are. But you don't even need to look for it. It doesn't really matter now. Like even looking at it, it will mean describing it will or could potentially create like the desire to try to obtain it. It's there. Like this sense of being. There's always been consciousness and there's always been this sense of being.
Yeah, and there is this impulse to look for it, but that would be looking for,
Yeah.
yeah, an object. So what do I do? So, you know,
Yeah. Ramesh always used to tell a story. Did I tell it to you before? I forget what I
uh,
say to people about
yeah.
Ramesh. I did.
No, no, I mean, I've heard a lot of Ramesh stories from you, so I don't know if we're,
This is the one about his little niece or great niece that came up and drew him a picture.
no, no, I don't think I've heard this
So
one.
he said like she was only like 2.5, 3 years old, and he was like 90 years old, and everyone was going out, so he was left babysitting her. So she drew him a picture, and then she showed him, and he was like, "Oh, that's very good, that's very good." And then he put it down, and then she looked at him, and she shrugged her shoulders, and she said, "And now what do I do?" And he was like really amazed that even at 3 years old, there's always that sense of, "What should I do?" It's a human dilemma, what to do.
Yeah. And it starts early, yeah.
And then if you think of it like in the other extreme, if you like like if you tried everything, so if you were alive for like 1,000 years and you tried everything in this life, like all the things you tried, you like skydiving, you tried all types of meditation practice, like everything, everything, everything. Eventually you'd get sick of all the things there are to do. And you're still here. There's still that watching, and there's still that sense of being here. I know that's not very satisfactory to that element that wants to do, but it's just looking at it for what it is, that it's a feeling that comes up and says, now what? Now what?
Is that impulse what Ramesh would call doership? Is that one and the same, or am I getting my vocabulary mixed up?
Yeah, that's what he would call doership.
Hmm.
I don't talk too strongly about these things because on the human level, it seems that a human that's healthy is somebody that focuses on what they want and focuses on like achieving what they want, like has a sense of what they want and then focuses on that achievement. So it's kind of ironic, but it's also seeing that that's not who you are and that's not going to complete you. But like in your day-to-day activity, like in order to complete a day, at the beginning of the day, you have to focus on what it is that you want to do. If you don't focus, then it will all be chaotic, and you need to make your lists, and then you follow through and you do those things, and in that feels good on the human level to have that, to have your goals and then to meet your goals, and that's very natural and that's very normal. And I'm not, when I'm talking about that voice that says what should I do, what should I do, like I'm not talking about you not having goals on the human level. I'm talking about that energy that feels like that's who you are and feels that in doing things you will complete yourself. So that other layer of doership that's holding on to your activity, that's holding on to your behavior and saying, this is me and I will find happiness in that. I will find freedom. But actually what you look for is always what you are.
I don't know why I got the giggles all of a sudden. Yeah, I think it was just a bodily release, which is always lovely.
Yeah. Sorry, that's not me, that's Khaleesi. I don't know if you can hear
Ah,
this like growling, or she's going to bark in a minute at me. It's time for her dinner. And so
okay.
when she's hungry, she sort of stamps her foot and barks at me.
Getting impatient. Come on now. Enough satsang.
Yeah. It's quite sweet. I find it quite endearing, even though I presume it's quite rude in dog language.
Yeah. We let dogs get away with a lot.
Yeah, we do.
I don't know what it is. Like I don't know if I told you, my mom and dad, they have dogs, and the way they spoil those dogs, I'm like, why didn't I? I never saw this side of you. But
I know. I remember this one time when I came into the house. I let Khaleesi in. It was when my dad was still alive, and I let Khaleesi in, and then I hear, "Oh, hello, beauty, hello, beauty," and they're like kissing her and they're hugging her and they're like, "Are you wonderful? Are you wonderful? Oh, there's the best girl in the world." And then I walk in, they're like, "Oh, hello, Lisa."
Yep.
I'll imagine that was me in Khaleesi. Imagine you're doing that to me. It is really funny the way we treat our dogs.
I know. I guess we don't have the sort of parental projections, on dogs that we do on kids. So
Yeah.
that probably has a lot to do with it.
Yeah, just doing their poop in the morning on their morning walk is enough. They're like, "Yeah, you've done it for the day. Good dog."
Yeah, such a good boy. You didn't shit in the house.
Yeah.
I don't shit in the house either, Mom.
Yeah.
You don't. Where's my treat?
Yeah. I also sometimes wonder if it's because we don't have any inhibitions with dogs, so we can just like shower them with as much love as we want. But with other humans, we're a little like.
We don't have a lot of what for dogs?
Inhibitions, like, so we don't like, so our showering of love, like we can say all these wonderful things, but then with other humans you're a little like shy to say all these things or to give them a hug or to appreciate them that much.
Yeah, because you're right. Like, I guess there is a sort of a sense of decorum that you have to have with people, even the people you're super close with. Yeah. I'm gonna start baby talking to all my friends like I do with dogs.
Yeah.
Just it's time for a change.
Yeah. Nice. Okay, well, I will go and feed Khaleesi. Thank you so much for calling in and being open and sharing with people. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I always enjoy our talks. So till next time.
Yeah, thank you very much, Bishop. Bye.
Take care. Bye.
Okay, guys, well, that's the end of today. Khaleesi has determined that I have to feed her now. Well, she's settled down a little bit. Okay, I will look at some other questions. Hi Tamara, hi Lisa. Tamara here from the first time. Hello. I get this fear coming up of opening up to everything. I'm afraid of being so vast, so open. I feel like it's past experience of not being accepted as I am. Can you give me some advice on this? Yeah, I think it's the way of the warrior. Like this way is remaining committed to that, to being yourself and to opening up. that you are allowed to be here. You don't have to be a machine in the cog. You don't have to please everybody. You don't have to be successful or be something. Just as you are. Nice. I think that's enough. I can see Khaleesi getting activated again. Or hear her. Yeah, I wish you lots of love, and I shall see you Sunday at 6 p.m. French time. Thank you very much for sharing and being open. Bye, guys.